G'day guys, and welcome back to SimWorld, a very special episode today. We've got the Nova guys. Well, one of them, Taylor, is in the chat. It's awesome to have you on the channel, Taylor. I've wanted to do this for a long time, so welcome. We also have Chad. I call him the mad scientist. He will be hanging out in the comments section for everybody. So yeah, welcome to the channel, Taylor. This is exciting. I can't wait to get into this.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Super excited here too.
Nice. We'll let people come in. Looks like Spike's already in the chat, which is good to see. Spike, let us know if everything is working. Let us know if the video is working and you can hear us. That'd be good. So I guess while we let people file in, let's talk about Nova and let's talk about where you guys are at with the product. Let us know, because it's been a while since I've done an update video. I've had a lot of people ask about this unit. Give us an update. How's it going? Where are we at the moment?
Update. So we are taking pre-orders now, hoping to ship units out in about 2 weeks. So we're there. Made it over the long few years and ready for it.
That is seriously exciting. So I guess from where this started was an idea, I guess, with you and Chad. Take us on that journey. So this started 2 years ago, and now we're at the point where pre-orders have started.
I would say closer to 4 years. So me and Chad, actually, we met on Discord in one of the Sim Golf channels. And, you know, he had just released a LiDAR tool at that time. And so I saw that and I was fascinated. Like, wow, we can start building our home courses and whatnot. So, you know, we're both technical people. We started talking. And then always through our conversations, the frustrations we have with our launch monitors are, you know, a hot topic. And we're also been in the community. We see everybody and their complaints. So it was always in the back of our mind, you know, this is technically feasible. We could do it. But, you know, after a few years, we'd always meet up from guys with Discord and we'd play around together out in Vegas. So it was a nice little sim golf meetup. And then finally, we just said, let's do it. And, you know, from our first prototype in a cardboard box to now we're 3 beta units out and finally a production model. We're just really, you know, we look back and like, wow, we did it. We're here.
That's amazing. That's such a journey. So with the unit, I guess, that I have, are there any changes hardware-wise from the unit I have to this production model?
No, there's no hardware changes. The units and the beta units we sent out, they're all just different types of prototypes. So from tooling to plastics to brackets, everything, cables. We were trying out different samples of different stuff to make sure that, hey, this is the one we want. This is the most reliable. So now everything's been standardized, which is the key to getting something reliable and repeatable.
Okay. Yeah, nice. And that's the key, I guess, when you're going to launch something essentially worldwide. Are you worldwide, Taylor? Is this?
We are worldwide. So we are approved for everywhere in the world. So we're taking orders from everywhere in the world. And if your country's not in the drop-down list, just shoot us an email or ping me on Discord and I'll add it.
Yeah. So I guess a product that is going to be sold worldwide, you want to make sure that everything's you know, working. And I'll just put a link in the in the comments there so everyone can go check it out. They can put their pre-order in. Selling this unit worldwide, the way you guys did it was very smart, I think, by putting out, like doing a soft launch and putting out beta units, because I always say whenever I do any review that I guess when I'm doing a review, it's just showing you what the launch monitor is like in my environment. And my environment is going to be, you know, it can be wildly different from someone else's environment. The way my mat's set up, the way my impact strip is set up, you know, potentially there's going to be a drop off when the ball leaves the mat that might cause some issues. Whereas someone, you know, yourself, for instance, might not have that. And so the launch monitor may perform differently in everybody's environment. Do you want to talk us through kind of how you did the soft launch? You sent out test units and just gathered all that data?
So the very first launch of our very initial beta unit, we just had people sign up. We drew names on a wheel and shipped them out, said, have at it. say what you want, go with it, try to break it, do anything you want, use your imagination. And that kind of testing is really great because we learned all kinds of things. So we have left-handers who had a space heater behind, and the space heater just happened to be in the shape of a ball. So we're sitting there looking at a space heater, and it's like, oh, okay, there's a ball there. You even gave us something whenever you were testing other launch monitors. We noticed reflection stickers on your clubs. And so what we call all of that is a nuisance engine. So we update our nuisance engine with any of the kind of environment scenarios and things we see. And the more units out there, the better it gets. And the feedback, we make it really easy for our customers and our beta testers. Hey, look, this doesn't look right, because our dashboard has photos and a report button. That goes straight to us. They're like, look at this. Please tell me why it's doing this. And then we have an actionable data point to go off on there. It's not just, hey, this thing is not working. Why? And there's no explanation. There's photographic evidence of, hey, it's not working. Well, guess what? You know, you have a giant reflection sign behind you that's blinding everything. There's all
Yeah.
kinds of things we've seen.
Yeah, and that dashboard makes it really easy to figure out what's going on because you get the images of the actual ball as it leaves the, club face or whatever, and you can literally see it. And even this morning, I've got Chad's going to have some fun because I'm testing with the Golf Joy launch monitor, and the way you put the stickers on the Golf Joy. So iMini, you put the reflective stickers there on the actual club face. The Golf Joy, you put the stickers on the toe end of your club, so right on the other side. And so I was hitting some practice shots this morning, and I'm going, what is this crazy spin axis? I've never seen this before with the Nova. And then I figured out it was because of these reflective stickers in a different location. So I'm gonna hit some shots after this and send them through to Chad so he can have some fun. But yeah, they're going to perform differently in everybody's environment. That's the thing. And there's going to be issues that pop up. But the good thing is you've got that website, the launcher that you can go in and actually see what's going on and report it straight to the guys, which is really cool.
Yeah, and we enjoy challenges. So this is another one for us to work on.
Yeah, for sure. So the launch monitor today, as it stands, it's available for pre-order. Let's talk about the actual data points. Let's talk about, ball speeds, because I think after my review, I was contacted by Red Sox, and he said, hey, do you think these guys would be interested in testing out higher ball speeds? And I said, well, mate, I can't reach higher ball speeds, and we're talking 200 miles an hour ball speeds. I said, you might want to reach out to them and see if they want to do some testing, because there's not many people who can, hit 200 plus miles an hour ball speed. So talk about, I guess, the journey, and talk about what this thing collects in terms of, putting. It does putting, it does chipping, it does ball speeds up to X miles an hour. Just talk us through the unit, some of the specs.
Well, yeah. So you were our highest ball speed before. So one of the problems we go, how do we find someone who could hit a ball really fast? And we're limited to our testers for that. And Red Sox, thanks to you, Joe, contacted us, and he was like, hey guys, I hit the ball really fast and really hard, and I have trouble with other launch monitors except radar units that go behind me. And those aren't a little bit limited for sim play, which we're mainly focused on sim play. So we were like, okay, buddy, here you go. We sent him out a unit and let him have at it. And then as soon as he started blasting 220 ball speed, we were like, okay, let's start tweaking on this. So that's how that went down. And we still play in our Discord. I play pretty much every night with everyone in the community. People who aren't even Nova customers can sit there, watch us play, ask us questions. It's just a fun, friendly time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So in the Discord, I'll link your Discord and also the website. I'll put the website in the chat, but if people want to find those things at the end of this video, I'll update the description. You'll be able to find those, the Discord, etc. So you can jump in and you can just watch people play and use the unit. You can communicate, you can chat, ask questions, etc. All right, let me talk about something that I think is probably the coolest thing about this launch monitor. it is so different from a lot of other photometric based units, and that is the profile. So to me, the way this unit sits on the ground, and I'll try and move so you guys can see it, it is such a low profile. It's roughly a golf ball height. And so what that, it does a few things, but what that I found that does for me, and you get used to any launch monitor that's there. You can get a Garmin R10, Garmin R50, sorry. You can get an iMini, a GC3. You'll get used to the launch monitor being there, but you're always kind of freaking out, especially when other people come over and play. They're not, you know, as good as you. You're going, please don't shank it into the launch monitor. Even though we know it has a bit of protection, you're just like, please don't shank it into the launch monitor. The coolest thing about the Nova to me is the profile. Talk us through why you went with that profile, because I'd have to imagine it's quite hard to capture the data with that low profile. Every other launch monitor has cameras stacked. And talk me through what kind of led to that design.
So part of our core philosophy is we want to build something we like to use. And so I'm pretty sure we've all had the experience of people coming over and say, okay, let me play. They go and they're afraid to hit because they know they're going to break your expensive toy. You know, and you're hovering over them. And we've gone through this when we've seen dads go around their kids and be like, oh no, swing like this. You know, that takes the fun out of it. And so one of our first things is, all right, let's build something different, something that is less intimidating, and the user doesn't have to build an expensive or ugly shank tank around it that would take away from the performance of the unit. So we went in, and this is what we came out with. Is it's built in. If you look at the front profile of it, where any of the impacts could really happen, it's already a metal insert. The plastic there is reinforced, so it's ready for that. We've actually had people, we've told them, please try to shank it, please try to break it. And we've had a lot of dented metal, but no broken units in that sense so far.
Yeah, it's really, when I was talking to you and Chad about it, Chad explained it a really, really cool way. He talked about, was it the fighter planes in World War One? And he said the ones that were coming back had bullet holes in certain places. And so that's when they knew, hey, if it gets hit in that location, it's okay. Just, it's the other locations you've got to kind of protect against. So it's a really cool way of kind of describing it and using that, I guess, information and then building certain areas with metal plates in it, etc. Really cool.
Yep.
The other obvious advantage as well is you can actually swing over this for lefties. So that's a massive one. Usually when you get a photometric based unit, you are kind of, I mean, you can get away with using it and swinging across it, but if you're a left-handed golfer, you're going to be so scared to hit the unit with your shaft. It's not going to be good. The advantage of the low profile is that you can actually use this as a right-handed or left-handed golfer, and you can just swing over the unit as a left-handed golfer. So that's another massive one that I know you guys have done a lot of testing on.
Oh yeah, we've battle tested it at trade shows, a couple of thousand people rolling through there, never played golf before. So it was less intimidating for them than we thought. You know, I'm not a left-handed player. We have a lot of lefties who've tried it. We have beta users in our Discord who are left-handed. They use it daily.
Yeah.
It's something we're excited about because it takes away from the distraction of actually playing and having fun. So moving a unit, checking its realignment between every kind of shot or something like that, that takes away from the whole experience and the flow of sim golf.
Yeah. So I guess the ethos for you guys was family, fun, golf. I guess those are those the points. Am I hitting the nail on the head there?
Yep, there it is. We want people to enjoy using our product and then forget about it. We are a tool to entertain people and let them not think about the actual hardware, the technology, but enjoy the actual process of using it.
Yeah, nice. That's fantastic. We've had our first question coming from Dan, and he's saying, I play with my granddaughter. So what about slow swing speeds and low ball heights?
Nope, no issue there. We capture more sculled balls than we would like, people would like us to. So a lot of the shanks they're used to getting away with, but we capture those. So that's not a problem. Our low profile helps with that a lot. There's no lowest hitting zone because it's the same for putts. It could roll along the mat and we're going to capture it.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. And I'll hit some shots here in a minute just to kind of demonstrate as well. Joshua's in the chat. He's saying, "G'day, good to see you, Josh." If anyone's got
Yeah.
any questions, just pop them in the comment section, and we'll get to them. Nice. All right, I might start hitting some shots then. So I'm out here at the facility. I'm just going to try and change camera views. Look at that, it worked as well. Nice. So I'm out here at the facility, and let me just move this to 10 feet exactly, because that's a bit of OCD there. There we go. Nice. All right, I got a 10-foot putt, and we'll just hit some putts. So the unit itself, do you want to talk about the touch bar, Taylor, while I'm hitting some putts?
Yeah. Touch bar, another thing that, you know, we're really happy to integrate. Something that's unique about our product is walking over to a keyboard or holding a mouse or something in your pocket really takes away from the immersion of the experience. So on our touch bar, currently we have three buttons programmed, and then a shift style button that allows for other actions. So you can do heat maps, you can do left and right, and then you can recenter, and then you can clear everything again. So the whole point of this is it's going to be user customizable, per game customizable. We really want to give people their own experience with this. So the static buttons are set there for now, but this is going to be something we're going to open up and let people decide how they want to use it, or use like a pre-configured profile per game, up to the user. We really want them to build their experience around options.
Yeah. And I'm just giving the touch bar a go now. You can see I can aim. I can also turn the heat map on. So that's the heat map. It looks all one color because this green is perfectly flat. So interacting with it is really cool. I love that touch bar. To me is also like a really, really nice feature that no other launch monitor I've seen has that.
Thanks. We're excited about it. And again, it's just a feature we're just getting started with exploring. There's all kinds of possibilities with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had a chat to you guys about possibly integrating something to it as well.
Yep.
So the actual touch bar on top, it has, for people who haven't used this launch monitor or haven't seen my reviews, it's got like a little, the touch bar is what, an LED light strip essentially. And so what you see on the actual unit is a blue dot, and that's where you, it's just a little visual aid to help position your ball, which is quite nice.
Yep. So one of the things with the blue dot, and it's actually named after one of our beta testers, because he went through and tested every location, and he's like, you know what, I like this location. So we named it the Burt dot, but that eventually turned into a blue dot.
Yeah,
And
nice.
there's a very distracting element of having to place the ball in a same spot over and over and worrying about that. And one of our things we really wanted was to have an extremely large hitting area where you could just drop it and hit. And so right now, pretty much the whole length of the Nova up to the hump in the back, if you're familiar with the profile, you can hit from. So it makes it a lot more friendly for kids who aren't there trying to put it in a specific spot, waiting for a ready light to go on. The Nova is always ready. You can hit. We haven't found anybody who could hit balls fast enough to where we would have to have an intercept to wait.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, the hitting area size, do you want to touch, I guess you've kind of touched on it, but how big are we talking? Like with driver, for instance.
So away from the unit right now, we have it kind of hardware limited by software. So about 45 to 50 centimeters away from the cameras. We've locked that down just for beta testing.
Yep.
But that will probably be changed because we have a lot of users wanting to put like a putting strip area outside of the hitting area so they can ensure it's flat. So
Yeah.
we've actually done in-house testing, and we were like, wow, this thing can actually work up to a meter away from the unit for putting. So once we dial that in, we'll be relaxing that hard limit for the software limit, but there's no hard limit per se. As long as the Nova can see the ball for putting, we can do that. And you can drop the ball behind it now, way behind the blue dot, and hit a putt, and it'll pick it up. So our hitting area is large, we'll dial it in and give better references and diagrams for people as they need. But the goal is, hey, throw it anywhere roughly around the blue dot, about a club handle away, and go at it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm definitely over a club handle away now, and it seems to be working perfectly. Oh, that was a bad stroke. That was such a bad stroke. But yeah, you can see it's working. The HLA looks really good as well, apart from that one, which was just a horrendous stroke. I'll do one more. I want to make one of these 30-footers. Oh, I blocked it again. But yeah, I mean, putting works really well. I'll hit some more chips and... all right, we've got a few questions now. We've got one. Might be looking to upgrade from my MLM2/XPUT RG combo, which I'm happy with in terms of performance and data. How would the Nova compare?
So data points, everything you need for sim golf, we're there. Joe's been testing it. Our data, as someone who's used multiple launch monitors, Joe knows not every single unit will sync up, but as long as the data is reliable and there's patterns in it, there's enough to go on. So an upgrade, yeah, definitely I think is an upgrade because of what we offer. And then you go back again to data points, Joe. We've had conversations with you about a data point people ask us a lot about is club head speed. And so
Yes.
on that issue, we've showed you some of the internal workings of it and explained the complexity of club head speed. Do we measure the toe? Do we measure the heel? Do we measure the center? Is it pre-impact, post-impact? Where do users get an actionable data number from? So we have club head speed measured, but what club head speed will give you with ball speed is smash factor. And smash factor is really important for learning about, hey, maybe I'm swinging better, but I'm hitting the ball worse. So if we said an unreliable club head speed number or one that wasn't repeatable, we'd be giving out data that wasn't actionable for users to improve. So we're refining that. The numbers are there. It's not a limitation of the unit. It's just how do we best present something that the users can improve and actually learn on instead of just, hey, yeah, we got it. Here's a number, add it to the tiles.
Yeah, no, and I have seen some of the club speed numbers that you're talking about, and they do, it absolutely works. So I'm hanging out till that comes in. Just on data points, let's talk actual data points. So you're going to get with your ball data, you're getting everything that you'd expect. So everything a software like GS Pro needs: horizontal ball speed, ball speed, horizontal launch angle, vertical launch angle, spin axis, backspin, total spin, side spin, etc. What about club data? Let's talk about that because you just touched on club speed. Are there any other metrics that you guys are looking at doing with the Nova?
Right now, club head speed is the first one on the roadmap, and it's already there. It's just how do we give something to the user that will help improve their experience and hopefully help them improve being a better golfer. Other metrics, there's possibilities we can explore into them, but part of our thing is we want people to have fun and not be a spreadsheet emulator with our product. So if we can find a way to incorporate, face data, path, or anything of that nature, it would be secondary to actually the core function of the unit, and it would be more of a training exercise or something like that. So imagine we're tracking path and ball data, not ball data, but face data, but outside of the simulation experience. Because a lot of the things we think about on golf and what we have fun with is if I go out and you tell me my face angle is 3 degrees closed, without someone over my shoulder, because my skill level of golf, I'm not going to be able to correct that. I don't even know where to begin. So I'll start instilling bad habits. So the possibility is there, but it's not really our core focus on what we want this unit to provide.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So club data, speed, I'm going to say definitely coming.
Yeah, club head speed will come. Yeah, so we already have the numbers. It's just what is the best way to give them a reliable number, not just a
Yeah.
number.
Yeah,
If we
exactly.
start saying, hey, your smash factor was 1.9, what are you going to question there? You know, what does
Exactly.
that mean?
So I guess it's accuracy, and I actually really like that you're not going to put something out there that you know isn't accurate. I'd rather, like we seen with the MLM2 Pro, they didn't release club data for what, 2 years. They made sure it was correct, and they've released it, and it is correct. So you'd rather someone do that than put out, like you said, misinformation, and then people start second guessing everything with the unit. So I I love that. I think that's a really good plan. Now,
And
yep, you go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, and with this hardware, we're not limited by much with the hardware. We're just limited on really how do we give something to the user. There's, that goes back to what you were saying. Do we just want to put something out there, or do we want to give something the user can trust and relate? So
Yeah,
the word accuracy thrown around, but even accuracy, how do you test accuracy against something else? Well, you're going to have a basis or a truth line.
a
And
reference. Yeah,
accuracy in us is it repeatable? Is it believable? And is this what a good golfer feels? So we've tested everything. That's how it is. You have to test these things, and the rest of the accuracy debate we're leaving up to the community. Let them go at it. If we say something, you're going to start not trusting us. But let's have the community, which what this is designed for, have at it and let them show that our numbers are real.
yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. And the more I use launch monitors, and I've obviously got this channel and I'm testing launch monitors, ball data, you can absolutely, well, you've got to have a reference point, like you said. My reference point is the foresight. But even that, I'm starting to go, well, hang on a minute. If every other launch monitor is saying one thing and it's saying another thing, potentially the foresight, you can go down rabbit holes. So ball data for me, absolutely. Every launch monitor should be within certain metrics, like a mile an hour ball speed, for instance, or within a couple of hundred RPM spin and spin axis. As long as they're all in that vicinity and it's repeatable, then that's fine. Club data is a whole nother bag. With club data, like you said, Taylor, depending on where the launch monitor is actually capturing the data from, when the launch monitor is capturing the data, is it at the point of max compression from the geometric center of the club head, or is it at from the club face at the time of impact? Club data can be wildly different. We're talking like 2, 3, 3, 4 degrees. And as long as that data is consistent, like you said, with the Pro T, it's consistently steeper on every iron shot I hit than, the iMini, for instance. But it is consistent in its own way that it captures the data. So then you can track trends and you can work on it. So yeah, I agree. The data thing is a whole rabbit hole that you can go down.
Yep. And then how many times have you been stuck in around trying to have fun and you're like, okay, hold on, is this thing aligned? Why am I a degree off here? And there you go. Your fun round turns into a science project.
Yeah, my tips tour rounds from this week are just exactly that. They're exactly that. So everyone, I was just hitting some chip shots. You can see kind of the delay that I've got. Every chip shot read exactly like I thought it would. I'm hitting little 8-yard chip shots just with a lob wedge, just doing like standard bump and run shots, and they're picking up perfectly. We've got some questions as well. I'll try and stay on top of these questions. Has anyone tested in indirect light or an outdoor scenario like under a carport, things like that?
I put this request out via your email too. Thanks for reaching out. And if you pop in our Discord, you can see some of the users doing their test setups out there with their garage door open. I don't have a carport or something like that to test in. I could try to hit some balls out in the yard tomorrow in indirect sunlight and let you know, but it's an indoor unit. That's how we're going. We don't want you to buy it. And if you're trying to use it outside, you're going to be, upset because like, oh no, the fence here is blocking the sun. Why can't it do it? A rough estimate we've been telling people is if you can see your projector, then you'll be able to use it. So that's kind of what we're going on as a rough estimate. There's no hard testing out there. I'll try some more, but again, like Joe said earlier, it's hard to recreate every single body's setup and how that'll affect the launch monitor. But we're not built to compete with the sun. We're made for indoor.
Yeah. So yeah, indoor primary. So Harris is saying, why not just provide all the data and let people ignore it if they don't know what it's for?
Okay, yeah. What data,
But
if we
he
provide
said
it to you?
caveat. He said caveat, but only if it's accurate.
Yeah, so that's why we're going to provide the data when we can verify it's actually actionable, accurate data.
Yeah.
So imagine if we released it now, then next week you go hit and you're like, wait, I'm 10 miles an hour slower. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Those are the sort of scenarios we don't want to happen.
Yep.
And Joe, we've shown Joe what we can capture inside of the club head speed. And it's the data's there, but it's what point do we give to the user, and we'll get it out there. That's something we're going to work on. At launch, we won't have it. So, something to look forward to.
Yeah. What else? There's some questions coming in now. How quick is the alignment, say, compared to the Bushnell with the alignment stick? That's extremely quick, and that is a very good way of aligning a unit with the alignment stick.
Mhm. So, Joe, you've gave us a lot of ideas about alignment because I know it's something you really hate or you enjoy. So,
Yeah.
ideally, our first thought was the unit is a giant alignment stick. You should be able to line it up looking at your screen or looking at your hitting area. For me, I just make sure on the corner of my hitting area, it's 2 to 3 inches away from where my hitting strip starts on both ends. That's how I align it. We've experimented with laser alignment. We can see where the alignment is on there. We've done the ball alignment. Until we find something that's really fluid and easy, we're just going to tell people to eyeball it. It's a long alignment stick. Make sure the front, the center, and the back are equal to your hitting strip or hitting area. There's also mounting threads on the bottom of the unit. So I think they're in 5 threads that you can build sliders, mount it on there, move it back and forth however you need. You want to mount it to the ground. The threads are built into the base of the unit.
That's a really cool, good idea. All right, go in. What about, are any of the metrics estimated or are they all measured?
Everything's measured. We don't sum up anything like, oh, we couldn't really read that. We're just going to spitball it and give you a division of the two and just put it out there. No, we don't do that. Right now, currently, if there's a misread, you'll see it. It's identifiable. You're like, okay, here is a misread. Hit report. We'll figure out why it happens. And that's how we're going about it. We don't want to just put out numbers out there to make people, to make it smoother. Like, oh yeah, there's no misreads here. I've never used something that didn't have an issue. So we're not claiming no misreads ever and then just changing the data in the fly to go by that.
Yeah, for sure. And Harris is saying, since it's a camera base, will you provide any video of the ball striking? They actually do that. They already do that through the web page, Harris. You can kind of see, like, you're not giving the video. Potentially the video is something you could do in the future, because I do like the iMini has that video, but you can see the images of the ball strike.
Yep. So we show post impact, and for chipping, we do. In putting, we'll do a different type of impact, so you can actually see more images of the ball. But there's no plan for video right now, and we're going for speed. We want it instantly to the cloud. There you go. You have anything you have internet on, you can see.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. We got Greg McDonald in the chat. We got one of the best GS Pro course designers in the chat.
Love your courses, Greg. Great designer.
Yeah. Oh, that Port Rush. I cannot wait to play that. That it looks special, doesn't it? I'll hit some bunker shots and we'll keep getting through these questions. Yeah, so just to touch on alignment, I'm massive on alignment. So to me, I had the GC2, which didn't have like an alignment mode. And ultimately, I think that's what got me to just get rid of the GC2. But what I use now with the Nova is my overhead projection. So the overhead projection is so good, just for not only displaying data, but also alignment, like it, because you've got those reference lines. So to me, I just love that overhead projection for things like that. So that's kind of how I align my unit.
Yep. And speaking of overhead projector units and stuff like that, we got a lot of ideas involved, since Nova itself is essentially a little computer inside of there. So there's nothing stopping us from talking to OBS and doing sort of things with floor projection directly inside of that. So we already integrate with OBS for slow motion replay videos, worked with a great developer, Exceldro. So the Nova itself will send a trigger to OBS and say, okay, start swing replay, not relying on a microphone or anything like that. And that goes the same for Kino Via. Joan, another great developer, we worked together with him, and instant replays, open source software. We're all about integrating stuff that, you know, the users, makes their experience better, and it's not locked down or proprietary by us.
That's really cool. That is really cool. So let's talk software integration then. So obviously I'm using GS Pro now. It's integrated with GS Pro and works like really well. Are you guys going to get an official connection with GS Pro?
Oh, we've had an official connector for a few months now. We are just waiting to integrate it with our Windows application, which you can get on the Windows Store. Not too much to go there, but we'll have it out as soon as we update that. So official integration's already done. GS Pro team, great to work with. Nice guys.
That's fantastic. So GS Pro, what else? TGC 2019, I believe you guys, that's kind of how you and Chad got started, isn't it? You guys were big on TGC 2019.
Yeah, playing with his LiDAR tool is pretty much how we started talking every day. I started bugging Chad about this feature and that feature and everything. And then finally we became friends after enough bugging.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we met. TGC, it works. It's worked for a long time. I'm not sure if they're still selling the software anymore, but it works. We have enough requests for it. We'll put it out, update it. So that'll come with the Windows app update. Other integrations, part of the one thing that makes us really excited about our data is our data, we don't have anything restrictive to access it. So, you know, part of our name is open launch. And what do we mean by that is, you know, we want our data coming out of the unit to be open and accessible for anybody who wants to build or do something. So if you have an idea, you want to build a dashboard, you want to build a range, which some of our beta users have already done, and they're just waiting till the official launch. And they've built ranges around our products. They built custom dashboards. They've done all kinds of neat integrations. And another story we have is, I don't know if anyone remembers or is familiar with the software Fitness Golf. So Fitness Golf is software that's been around for a while in the sim world, and it hooks up to treadmills. So you hit a ball, you walk on your treadmill to it, and then you go again. So it's a full-featured sim game. And he reached out to us, Greg, great guy. It's like, hey, I see your launch monitors coming out. How do we work together? We said, Greg, there's nothing. How about we just send you a unit? You show us what you need. We'll give you some key like connection ideas about how we're sending it, what works for you, and we'll customize it, or let you customize it. It makes it easier for you to integrate your software. And
that's really cool.
So now we have another software out there working. So in the end, eventually, we'll have a documented API where everything has clear instructions to do it. But it's one of those things, we need to learn how developers are wanting to use the data before we build something that they don't want to use. And then we're having to start all over again. But if you have any questions about where the data is or how to get it or any ideas, reach out to us. We'll work with you. We'll help you. There's no NDAs to sign or anything you need to pay us or anything like that. We want you to enjoy your unit and, you know, build stuff around it is kind of our goal. Let's grow sim golf. This thing is a unique thing, and we're happy to be in it because we've been in it and we actually use our product, and let's make it better altogether.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what about so you've talked about users building like driving ranges and things like that. Is Nova going to have its own kind of standalone software, or is it going to be a device that hooks up to other softwares?
No, we've had a lot of back and forth about this, but realistically, we looked at our own behaviors. Every range and every software gives you different distance, different carry, different everything you can imagine. So if I'm going to go play a game, I'm going to use that game's built-in range, because if I go use the Nova range, then hop into GS Pro and be like, hey, the Nova range is giving me different carry than GS Pro.
Yeah,
That's something that we don't want to get into that, and it's just something, if you're going to play a game, use that software's game, because it's how they control it.
the algorithm's going to be different. Go in,
Well,
go in. Oh,
oh, great shot. And
yeah, that's the thing. And like I've got a lot of launch monitors in this room, and exactly like you said, I'm never using the Unicore range. Like I'm never using the Foresight range. Like I hook it up to GS Pro. Let's be honest. It
nope,
can do
then,
everything and more than any of the other softwares.
nope.
The one thing though that I think is really cool with I'm currently testing this GolfJaw unit, and the one thing I'll say is their software has a lot of games. Well, not a lot. I think it's got 4 games, but those games are so good. And pretty much when I finish this, I'm going to get my kids in here and they're going to play the games. And I think that would be really cool, is just to focus on those little mini games, blowing up buildings, blowing up little boxes and things like that. That's where I think there could be a really
Yep,
big opportunity.
yep, yep. And this is something that we've made and said before, is part of our focus on software coming out is going to be 2-week release cycles and new mini games to try, and something to just engage with, not full course play. There's already stuff doing it way better. Let's make something that's entertainment, fun, and you can just spend some time with, and then it's refreshed in 2 weeks again. That's kind of
Yeah,
where we're going with our software approach.
yeah, that's cool. Right. Let's talk, Chad. Let's talk, Taylor, about golf balls. So golf balls are a big thing with all these units that come out. So I'm currently
Mhm.
using these Pix balls.
Yep.
Talk about golf balls. Do we need special golf balls with the unit, or can we just use anything?
We're recommending at this point any ball that has a lot of logos. So Pix balls, there's speed softballs. With that said, though, a lot of our users are just using normal golf balls and doing it. But testing, beta, everything, we're trying to get it the most reliable and the most data that's good to act on. So we recommend balls with logos, no specific logo requirement, nothing like that. The more logos, the better, is what we're going on now. But in the future, we're going to have spin dialed in to where any ball would work, but maybe not just a plain white ball. I don't know if any of our viewers have ever tried a plain white ball on their launch monitor, but it's an interesting experiment if you want to go for it. So the data is always going to be better with markings on the ball.
Yep. So it doesn't really matter which ball. It's just got to have some markings on it.
Yep, that's
Kind of
what
like
we're
we
saying.
see. Yeah, kind of like we see with the Pro T. So in terms of tracking, it's not dimple tracking then, it's using the markings on the golf ball.
Yep, currently we have ideas for dimple tracking. It'll be introduced eventually. However, what we're focused on now is the low-hanging fruit. Yep, there's a logo, good data points right there. So it'll always be more reliable that way. So it's just, hey, if we missed it, we don't show it, hit again.
Yeah, yeah. So Harris has just said, so if he doesn't want to subscribe to another software at this point in time, he's just looking at the web portal essentially.
Yep,
Is that,
you can do
yeah,
that. There's no subscription for that. You can have a net, a mat, and just hit, and you can look at a phone, iPad, TV, whatever you want, and see it on the web. Your data will be reported real time with the photos, and that's always free. You'll have
Yeah.
access to the dashboard.
In terms of GS Pro, there is no subscription. Is that right? Like, you obviously got to pay the GS Pro subscription, but to play with the Nova, you're not adding in a subscription fee to use that software, to use like a third-party connector?
No, there's none of that. And our model is openness, so there's no reason for us to even do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it would kind of go against the OpenAI. Nice. So Alan's saying, okay, so Alan, we kind of discussed about data points. He's saying, what data do you provide today and what additions are you confident on adding? So Alan, you're going to get all your normal ball data that you would get, so that enables you to play sim golf. So ball speed, ball speed, vertical launch angle, horizontal launch angle, spin axis, total spin, side spin, and backspin. So those are the ball data points you're going to get. And then in terms of club data, that's something the guys are working on. That they definitely want to get club speed out, because then you can have smash factor, and then potentially adding things like angle of attack, club path at a later date. We have POB 16 in the house. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you back from holidays. We've got to get to work on a new course for the league. Scott is in the house. Nice. I'll just hit this 8-iron. Not a bad shot. So in terms of response time, I mean, it's pretty quick. You can see that there. You hit it, and it's the tiniest of shot delays, but within tolerances for me. Like, it's not something that's overly slow like a Skytrack where you got your 2-second delay.
No, and that could come faster. We can make it faster. There's all kinds of tweaks and stuff, but a lot of the times strangely, there's some weird middle ground where if it's too fast, people complain because they miss what happens on screen. So we've made it really fast, and then, it's too fast. But where we're at right now, we feel is a good middle ground, and we can make it faster. It's just here it is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some members in the house. It's good to see Tom at. Harris is in the house. Greg's in the house. So we've got quite a lot of people in the chat at the moment. Alan's asking, any plan to add Awesome Golf? That would be cool.
Yep. So we've reached out to Awesome Golf and E6, and it's a process to get going with all that. So we're focused right now with anybody who's open and, you want to connect, let's go. That's the main goal right now of our where we're moving currently. It's not out of the, we're not saying no. It's just right now we're focusing on anybody who wants to connect with us. That's quick and easy for them, and no contract signed or anything like that.
That's cool.
And as far as processing, I don't know if we mentioned it, but everything is done on the unit. Oh, great shot. There's no need to hook it to a computer or anything like that. So processing all done on the Nova itself.
Let's talk about connection, Taylor. So how does this unit connect to your computer or to, whatever device you're using?
So for the connection to the computer, as long as the computer has internet and the Nova has internet, it'll work. So that'll give you an example. I can log in to my app on a different computer in a different house, hit a shot from my Nova in my garage, and it shows up on another user's screen. So there is our unit and the app. For the app specifically for GS Pro, as long as the computer has internet, it's good. For dashboard, as long as the Nova has internet, it's going to hit the dashboard.
So I guess Wi-Fi. Yeah. So Scott's asking Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. It's Wi-Fi, Scott.
Wi-Fi. No.
Yeah.
So we know all the hassles of connection issues with Bluetooth, so we are Wi-Fi. So one of the things I haven't talked about is, the stability of our connector and how the device itself is made to be an Internet of Things device. So it's always on and always ready. So no matter if you just want to run into the garage, hit a few shots, and then come back and look at it later on your phone, no problem, because the device is meant to stay on and always ready. As far as connections to GS Pro goes, our connector is solid. You're not going to be hassling with it, restarting it. It shows you if it's connected or not. And best performance, same Wi-Fi, but as long as both units, both the computer and the unit have internet, then it'll work.
Yeah. And Scott has asked, does it have an internal battery or does it need to be plugged in all the time?
There is no internal battery. So I don't know if anyone's experienced a lot of problems with electronics. Batteries are always the first thing to fail. We just use a simple barrel jack connector. We include a 16-foot or 15-foot barrel jack connector extension inside of the packaging. So we are no battery.
Yeah. There is the web interface. Harris just asked if we could show the web interface. So this is what it looks like.
So these are the numbers you'll get. This will be free. Every shot you can see. We have some updates to the interface coming, so you can see a shot catalog and shot history. So there's a lot of stuff we'll be expanding on this part. Since, it's a web interface, updates can happen rapidly. We can test stuff out. No update needed by you, the user. This is something that, we're really excited to deal with. Instead of you having to go download an update, am I on the latest update type of thing, we'll be updating the dashboard a lot with new ideas and new features.
So one thing Taylor said that is quite important is this device is like an always-on device. So it's not something that you're going to need to go. I guess the whole point of it is ease of use. So you don't have to go in to your sim room, turn it on, connect it, etc. It's just going to stay on all the time, and it's just going to do its thing.
Yep. And so our setup process is something we're really happy with too, is you download an Nova application on your phone, you type in your Wi-Fi name and your password, it generates a QR code, you stick the QR code in front of the Nova, and it's connected. The last time you'll have to mess with it.
And Harris is saying, how do firmware updates happen?
Over the air. So it's an Internet of Things device. We push out firmware updates. You don't need to interact with it at all.
Oh, it was a bad shot.
Yeah, your bad shots are a lot better than my bad shot.
Kevin's joining us from Springfield, Illinois. And he says, love the show. Thanks, mate. Harris is saying, we've got a couple of questions. So one from Alan, can you play without connecting to the internet? Is there a local program, or if the internet is down, can you still use it? And then we've got one from Harris saying, does the user have control when it gets updated?
No one's ever asked us if the user has control of the updates. We can think about it. There's no reason why it wouldn't. Our updates are gonna, if it's a core update, maybe we would have to push it because of a new functionality or feature. Good question. We'll think about it and talk about it. I didn't know people would like to stay on outdated software. So there's no technical reason why it couldn't happen except outside of functionality.
And then the other question
no internet
was...
access. Yeah, so no internet access.
Yeah.
That's been asked quite a lot, and it's a scenario that it's possible. There's no hardware limitation why it couldn't happen. There's Bluetooth on the device, so it's possible, but our focus is, you know, if you don't have internet, you can't play GS Pro. What are you going to be doing there with no internet on there? Are you trying to take it to the range? Enough people ask for it. We can enable Bluetooth data transmission for no Wi-Fi mode, but it's something that's theoretically asked a lot, but in practice, we haven't had anyone be like, hey, I need it to do this outside of, hey, maybe I'm going to go camping and I want to bring my launch monitor with me where there's no internet. And I'm like, okay, you know, there's scenarios like that. Yeah, maybe don't bring it,
Yeah.
but it's not a hardware limitation.
Yeah. Got a lot of people from Springfield. We
Heat in
got
the
Dan.
garage. Yeah, so hot and cold in the garage. I leave mine in the
Yeah.
garage all the time. Our beta testers last winter, they left it in the garage all the time. And we actually learned some really interesting things about it because there's a temperature sensor inside of the Nova. And we would be able to see it would go from about -10 degrees up to about 55 within a matter of minutes. And we're like, how is this possible? Turns out some of our users were putting propane torches right behind the unit and blasting over it to warm up their garage. And we're like, okay, so I guess this is real world testing. So there's been no issues with hot or cold. We haven't, you know, it works through winter, it works through summer. We've done all the internal testing for, you know, all of the requirements for selling worldwide. Those have all passed.
That's fantastic. I got to think, like, you know, sending this thing overseas with a battery in it would cause a lot of hassle as well.
Hmm.
So it's probably almost good that it doesn't have a battery.
Makes it a lot simpler. One of the parts that always break. And so, Alan, to be able to use this with no internet outdoors, you know, we're an indoor unit. It works fine on a phone hotspot. You know, if you can do that, you can get your data and see it on the dashboard. That's always a possibility.
Yeah. I'm just hitting some 5-foot putts now. So one of the problems with a lot of these devices, photometric devices, is the horizontal launch angle when it's got slow ball speed. That's probably the big thing that you see go wrong with launch monitors like this. I'm just hitting some 5-footers now, and you can see they're all within that tolerance, and they're all going in the hole, which is good.
So another thing about ball speed for putts,
Is the
we can actually get down a lot lower than what we found people. So GS Pro 2-foot putt limited. So we play a lot of rounds on 2-foot putting just because it's fun for us. We have noticed that putts, since we can't test it, nobody really wants to putt a 0.5 mile an hour ball speed. So we have another artificial lock software cap. So 1.5 is the lowest. If people want to go lower, then they can. But right now, the only reason we consider going lower is for like putt training, practice, mini games, and stuff like that. So again, we can go as low as possible. There's no limit to the hardware there.
yeah.
So Alan, sunlight is an issue. We're not a outdoor unit. Direct sunlight, avoid it. We're doing testing now. You can check in our Discord. You can see how some of the users have tested with sunlight. You can see their photos posted, but we're going to recommend indoor. Keep out of direct sunlight. That's going to be your best bet for best performance.
So you can see the raw horizontal. Oh, can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see that. It's quite small. You can see the raw horizontal launch angle. This is the connector, the one that I'm using. So you literally come into your sim room, launch GS Pro, launch this connector. Everything just speaks to each other automatically. And this is the GS Pro connector. I'd assume this is going to be updated, isn't it, Taylor? Because if you've got the official connector, but yeah, this is so light that it just sends the data through, and you can just see you're getting just your basic data displayed there as well. And this is the raw data, so that part there, for instance, was a 0.2 left horizontal launch angle, and in GS Pro with that massaging algorithm, takes it down to 0.
No. Launch price.
Oh, launch
Yep,
price.
launch
Have you had
price.
it? Yeah, I don't
Yep.
think we've talked about that.
We
That's a
haven't
good
even
point.
mentioned it.
Yeah.
$1,500 worldwide, and that's a good time for it now. So thanks to Joe and everything, giving us a platform to speak for the next or the first 100 units ordered. Now we'll back pay the people for the ones who have already ordered, but free shipping worldwide and to your door delivered, $1,500.
Yeah, wow. Okay. That's fantastic. Yeah, shipping's probably going to be I'm trying to sell my impact strips, and a few people have asked me from overseas. The shipping is astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So
that's really cool. So that's the first 100.
first 100 as of now. So if you
Okay,
check our website, I updated it. But to all the people who are watching that already pre-ordered, we'll reimburse you for the shipping. Don't worry.
that's really cool. All right, I'll hit one more 5-foot putt. And if anyone's got any more questions, definitely put them in now. And if
If you
not,
don't
it's
have
no
it,
big deal because you can join the Discord and you can ask there.
yep, we're always there streaming pretty much every night live. So come join. You're not going to bother us. Ask us any questions you want.
Greg came in a little bit late. He's asking, does it do lefty and righty? Yes, it does. And that's one of the really cool things about this profile, Greg, is that because it's such a low profile, it's about a golf ball height. Because of that low profile, you can swing over the unit. I'll try. I could probably try and hit some left-handed putts. I hit some. Do you remember I hit those left-handed shots in the other live we did? That was. Oh, the issue with this putter is it's rounded on the back end, but I'll try and hit like a lefty putt. I'm gonna have to stand quite far away, I think. Oh, that was way left. Thank you, GS
Oh,
Pro. GS Pro massaging algorithm saved me there. Like trying to hit on a rounded putter and trying to hit it straight is not good. But it worked. It worked. The Mez would be even worse because the Mez has got these like fins. So it'd be, oh, it went in. All right, guys, that is going to be it. We'll wrap it up. If anyone's got any last minute questions, definitely chuck them in now. While Taylor's here, he can answer them. If not, I will put the Discord and also the website in the description once YouTube does its processing or whatever, and I can have access to the description. I'll put those in. But yeah, if not, Harris is
thanks
saying
so much.
congrats to Nova.
Well, thanks. I know a lot of the faces here. I've talked to y'all, played with y'all online. It's great to see y'all out supporting. Thanks, everyone. Thanks again, Joe. Been looking
Yeah,
forward to this.
no worries, Taylor. Thanks for coming on and answering all the questions. Oh, we got one last one. We've got how wide is the reading area? I like to putt off my hitting strip so the ball will be close to the unit as it's positioned now. We did touch on that earlier. Do you just want to touch on it again?
Yep. So right now we have a software limitation saying 45 to 50 centimeters or closer to the camera. We'll lift that as now we have all the data we need. So we'll lift that and set it to further away. But we'll do some more testing. But we know why people want to do this. We're very aware that you want a nice hitting strip and a flat surface to putt on. So we're going to be able to accommodate that to make it happen. This is something we can see. So, I have a fiber built mat. I can putt, the size of the mat. Right now, this is a little bit further away. Should be able to pick up the putt. Putt's on screen. We have it on our dashboard, but it says, is it 45 centimeters or closer? So we cancel it. But you can see the numbers on the dashboard. We just don't send it to GS Pro. In the future, we'll be able to do it.
That's cool. All right, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks so much to Taylor for coming on the channel. And yeah, the Nova Launch Monitor, you can pre-order now. the next, or the first 100 are going to be free shipping. So that's super exciting. That's going to be it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I will catch you guys next week.